Yeah, and there's so many troubling things about this case. It almost felt like it was over before it started. The fact that he didn't have anybody on the jury that looked like him, when in America you're supposed to have a jury of your peers. And then we get to this part of the case where there's not really a strong defense mounted for him. It looked like the odds were stacked against him from the moment that he picked his attorney. Now, I will say that, to Robert's point earlier, sometimes you don't know what witnesses are going to stay on the stand. But he has such a strong academic background, such a strong athletic background, that hopefully somebody at the school, somebody in his family had one positive thing to say about him that could withstand cross-examination. Now, in the event that there is a new trial, maybe he picks another attorney, maybe they go in with a new strategy and try to find more people that can say positive things about him. But at this point, he had nothing to lose because everything was already stacked against him. So his attorney probably could have taken a little bit more of a risk and called some more people to the stand to testify on his behalf. And what kills me about this is entrepreneurship and self-determination are supposed to be the foundations of America and capitalism, but not when Black people are participating in it. Not when two young Black boys are out here doing something positive, raising money for themselves and for their families. And at this point, we have to just say what it is. Being Black is a crime in America. Like you said earlier, Roland, walking down the street, somebody's calling the police on you. Bird watching, somebody's calling the police on you. When I used to work on political campaigns, knocking doors, people calling the police. I'm trying to be a good citizen. And I'm sure all of us on this panel today, and those of you watching at home, have a story about being an innocent Black person just out in the world, somebody's calling the police on you. White people really need to start wrestling with the fact that they are essentially afraid of Black people, and they see us having joy, making money, or just being children, and they see that as an assault on their personhood. Why? These young Black boys weren't doing anything wrong. They were supporting their community, doing exactly what they should have been doing. But being Black is a crime in America, and we see that time and time again. And if we're supposed to be one of the greatest countries on earth, like Americans and Republicans always say, wouldn't we want an educated population? Wouldn't we want Black men to be educated and to stay in schools and get their degrees and get good jobs? But no, they don't want that. They want Black and brown people unable to attend universities and receive higher education. And like you said earlier, this is not the first attack that we've seen on Black people going to colleges. We've seen DOJ send letters and announcements about investigating medical schools for admitting too many Black and brown students all across the country. This is just going to keep on happening, but we have to keep resisting this and keep fighting. And it's so disappointing that they're using the Civil Rights Act to do this, the same act that is supposed to uplift Black people. But they don't care. They don't want us educated. They want us back in chains.
Defunding of Black America. They want to completely destroy and eradicate the entire civil and economic rights infrastructure that we have seen over the last 60 plus years.
Yeah, and DOJ just basically made it legal to discriminate in the workplace. They said as long as you can hide your racism and discrimination behind tests and certain language, then it's good to go. And the ironic thing here is that this does not only impact Black people, even though the right wants to convince their base that it does. This will also impact white women who are struggling to get jobs in places where white men dominate. This will impact people with disabilities, older people. This is not just an attack on Black America, even though they're framing it that way. This is going to hurt every single person in an underrepresented community. But yet, these racist white women and these older people and anybody else in these communities are counting this as a win because they think this is going to stop Black people from joining them in the workplace. But that's not even the only impact of this decision. That's exactly right. And the Black church has been the backbone of the civil rights movement, of Black movements for liberation, since the Black church was in existence. So we can't be afraid. We can't hide, like Robert just said. We have to come out just like how the white churches are going to come out too. Because what we're going to see is wealthy donors, billionaires and millionaires and Trump supporters throwing their money at white pastors, at white political leaders so that they can get those endorsements and build more political power. And we have to do the exact same thing. The Black church is a powerful structure in the Black community. And right now, people are looking for leaders. They're looking for somewhere to go. They're looking for advice about who they should vote for and who they should not vote for. So the Black church needs to actually take advantage of this and not hide in the shadows and be afraid of what the Trump administration might do, because we don't even know what's going to happen yet. So we need to come out fighting and swinging back, just like they're doing. No, and the energy secretary was shaking in his boots because he didn't want to end up like other cabinet members who had to bite the dust after they messed up in a hearing in front of Congress. But look, he knows that President Trump wasn't being honest in that Oval Office. And he also knows that Trump was trying to spin this because of the terrible job that he is doing with the economy. I mean, for him to sit in the Oval Office in front of reporters, in front of the whole country, and say that he loves inflation when we're struggling to pay for gas and prescription drugs and groceries, it almost feels like he's trying to tank the Republican Party in November. If he keeps blundering like this, there is no way that his supporters are going to be happy to vote for Republican members of Congress in November, especially when he was relentlessly going after the Biden and Harris administration when the economy wasn't doing so great under them either. And even if prices do drop a little bit after this war is supposedly coming to an end, that is not going to do enough because people have already been coming out of pocket to pay for these expensive medical bills and pay for grocery prices and everything else. So his claims about this inflation being something that he created and that he wanted and that he loves, nobody should believe this. This is all a blunder and he's trying to clean up the mess that he made, but he's not even doing a good job at that. Thank y'all both for fighting this fight for the women of Georgia. I'm curious to know if y'all are receiving public support from politicians and people on the ground in Georgia. I know that when there are vast outcries, that can sometimes impact a court case. So what is the support like for this in Georgia?
Well, I can start. I think we have seen a real demand from families that they want midwifery care and are saying that loudly to their legislators. And so part of filing the lawsuit is to draw attention to that, to put facts before a court where the court has to listen and make a determination, and hopefully will be a wake-up call for legislators who can fix this. And it is a choice not to fix it, and we hope that they make a different choice.